What's up, everybody? Dome's here because you're on Dome's Gage's channel, so who else would be here except Dome's? No, I'm just kidding. Today is January 27th, and it's kind of a significant day if you didn't already know. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my debut album, Old Soul in a Young Body. So it's been exactly 1 year since I put that album out, which is crazy for me to even think about, honestly. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that has bought the album, downloaded the album, liked a video, commented on a video, shared a video. Anybody that's been supporting me since this album has came out, thank you so much. I've received so many messages about this album, personal messages that I would have never ever received if I didn't start making music like this. So you guys just make me happy that I made the decision to make music like this. But yeah, so I just wanted to start out this video saying thank you to everyone that supported me since this album came out. It really means the world to me. We're just going to continue to keep creating and keep growing, and you know, this movement is only going to get stronger. So thank you guys again, and yeah, that is the start of this video. So like I was saying before, today is the 1-year anniversary of my debut album, Old Soul in a Young Body. A lot goes into making an album, so I thought it would be kind of cool to do a video talking a little bit about the album, some behind the scenes stories and fun facts and things like that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you again for all the support. Let's get started. Okay, so the whole album starts off with an intro. An intro where I walk out of my studio and ask my dad if he could turn down the TV so I can record. A little fun fact is that is actually me walking out to ask him if I can record. You know, my studio is right next to his TV and I can't record without picking it up. But yeah, he didn't know I was recording, which is probably why he didn't say anything. But yeah, so he didn't know I was recording that, and he didn't end up hearing it until he heard it on the album when it came out. So he said he laughed, and you know, I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, first track, Walk in My Shoes. This one to me was a perfect intro. The first two lines, young man with an old soul, take a walk in my shoes, they got some old souls. Perfect way to start out the album, Old Soul in a Young Body. But besides that, I thought it was perfect to start out the album because it's this hard hip-hop boom bap beat. I start rapping, which may have been kind of a familiar style for the people that already listen to me. However, you're starting to hear storytelling. This is the first time you've ever heard me do any type of storytelling. This was the first time that I started to get personal. I started to show you my personal life. I started to say the lyrics, Homeward Bound, I used to watch that with my grandma. Since she'd been gone, I had to man up. But it's hard writing your whole life in these songs. I remember seeing my bro fight with my mom, so him and my pops moved, and they had a spare room. Guess it wouldn't be very long till I was there too, cause I was doing bad at the time. Ditching school, ran away, drugs and girls, all I had on my mind. Thought that it was fun and games, soon my life was gonna change. But there's a lot I've been through, come take a walk in my shoes. And then I tone it down after that. So it was like right when I started to get really personal and start to tell you a lot about my life, I say, but there's a lot I've been through, come take a walk in my shoes, and I bring it back, you know, and kind of lighten the mood again. So I thought that was the perfect way to just like introduce the album, as far as, you know, it starts to open up everything I'm talking about in the rest of the album, and it's just like a great introduction, I thought. And then I wrapped the song up with like the chorus. When I was making the beat, it was originally just the verse, and when I was making the beat, it was like kind of empty, but it was perfect for like what I was doing as far as like the storytelling rap. So I was like, okay, this is, you know, fine. But I remember when I was making the beat and I started to add more hi-hats and I started to add more cymbals and more drums. And then it was at the time that I had just bought my guitar, so I was just playing guitar on everything. And I started playing guitar on it and I ended up really liking it. And it just kind of turned from like this jazzy boom bap hip hop song to almost like a Rage Against the Machine kind of feel. And I don't know, I just really like that. So yeah, that's the last chorus, the take a walk in my shoes. Track 2 is Shoot for the Sky. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with this song by now if you follow me. Today is actually the 2-year anniversary since Shoot for the Sky's music video came out. That's a cool little fact as well. I picked the same day to release my album as Shoot for the Sky. Like, I decided somewhere along that, I would release the album, you know, on the anniversary of the video. So, I don't know. Okay, flashback to 2013. Let's say end of February, early March. I wrote Shoot for the Sky. This was the first song that I wrote where I knew I was headed in a different direction, just as far as the music I was making, and just as a person. I was growing, I was maturing a lot, and you could hear it in the lyrics that I was writing. So, okay, the song is finished being written, not recorded, but written. Early March, I wrote that song. At the end of March, me and KON performed at the Extreme Thing, which is a pretty big sports and music festival out here in Las Vegas. I've always attended those when I was younger, so it was a really big deal for me to be performing there. I had just finished Shoot for the Sky. I was super hyped on it, and I told KON, you know what, I think I'm going to perform Shoot for the Sky. I think I'm going to do this. So yeah, before the song was recorded, before I had another song done for the album, before anything, I performed Shoot for the Sky at this festival, which I actually might have a little bit of footage of. I'm not sure though, but if I do, I'll play some of that right now.
I'm in the back of the line and I'm patient, but I'm really getting tired of waiting. My mind has been racing.
So yeah, I played the song. When it ended, I got a huge crowd reaction, a huge crowd response. I got off stage and I had people telling me that that's the best song I've ever made. People I've never met were coming up to me like, that song was great, you need to do more stuff like that. At that point, when I saw the genuine reaction from me being myself, Shoot for the Sky was the first time I ever got to be myself on a song, and to see the crowd respond to it so genuinely was like, at that point I knew that all I wanted to do was make music, and this album was my #1 focus. However, at this time I was still technically doing rap battles. Maybe a month prior to me writing Shoot for the Sky, I got an offer for a rap battle. I signed the contract and get paid in February, and my battle is in April. Okay, so now I make Shoot for the Sky. So I make Shoot for the Sky. After I perform at the Extreme Thing, all I am is just so hyped on Shoot for the Sky, and all I want to do is make music and work on this album and continue to create music like that. But I'm contractually bound to do a rap battle the following month. So I had to completely put everything aside and work on this rap battle. So at that point it was just even more of like I don't want to do this, you know, like I really want to focus on music, but I have to do this because so I wasn't really down with that. Anyway, I did the rap battle. I knew that was probably going to be my last one, and all I wanted to make was music. The night I actually did that battle, I went home and I wrote a song which didn't make the album, but it was originally going to be on the album. And but yeah, I wrote a song that night because I was like so inspired to write music that it was like, oh my God, this battle's done. I finally am done and I can go back to working on music. I wrote a song that night, you know, so that's April. Fast forward to December. It took me a little bit to get it actually recorded. That's the only song on the album that I didn't record at my house. It was the first song I recorded for the album. I reached out to a homie I was working with at the time, my homie Capiche, shout out to him. He recorded and mixed it, and he did a great job, so shout out to Capiche. I was gonna do the rest of the album with him, but I just kind of wanted to do things more on my own time and on my own pace. He's a rapper as well, so he was busy working on his projects and other people's projects, and I just wanted mine done in a certain amount of time, so I decided to do it DIY and do it myself, you know. So I got the song recorded in December, shot the video in January, early January, and put it out January 27th of 2014. And here we are, 2 years later, me talking to you about it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's keep it moving. Track 3, Hope Highway. So like I said, after recording Shoot for the Sky somewhere else, I decided to take it into my own hands. Every other song was recorded here, right here on this blue mic, actually. So yeah, every other song was recorded here and mixed and mastered by Delta. I would record everything here, and I would bring the songs to him to get mixed and mastered. Hope Highway was actually the first song I brought to Delta to get mixed, and this started the actual recording, mixing process of everything. This one was like my all-out rap song, like my bar for bar, like for the battle rap fans and the people that just want to hear me rap. But still, it was showing a lot more of my personal life. I was really happy with this song, the way this came out. This is one of my favorite ones, like quality-wise, just the mix of it all. This is one of my favorite ones quality-wise. It's a good song. I like Hope Highway, saying you gotta stay positive on this road of life. Hope Highway, not really rocket science. Track 4, OSYB, the sort of title track. I started writing the first verse at a friend's house. There was a bunch of people hanging out, and not to put anybody on blast, but you know, they were doing some stuff that I don't really condone in, and that was kind of awkward for me to be around. So I just kind of shut myself out in the back room with my headphones on and started to write raps, and I think that kind of inspired me to want to like write some personal lyrics, and that's where the first maybe 8 bars came out. So I took that home, finished up the first verse. I had the chorus already. Then I went out of town, and actually on the way back, we were driving back, and everybody's like falling asleep, and so I was just in the back seat, and I had my headphones in, and I wrote like a good portion of the second verse, like maybe like 12 bars, like almost the whole verse. But yeah, so I wrote a good portion in the back of the car. So it's kind of funny where I say, we live, then we kick the bucket and die. So I'm buckling up for the ride, shutting my eyes and wondering why. I'm buckling up for the ride and shutting my eyes. I wrote that when I'm in the backseat of a car and like everybody's asleep pretty much. Anyway, little fun fact about that. Next song, track 5. So Determined. New music video out for it. Just came out recently. If you haven't seen it, make sure to go check that out now. The link will be in the description. This one is my hype track. I made this one at the time while I was going to the gym and working out a lot. I've been kind of slacking lately, so don't judge me. But but yeah, at the time I was going to the gym a lot and working out a lot. And you know, whenever you work out, you have that hype song, that motivational kind of workout track that you're listening to, and so that's kind of what I went for when I made So Determined. I thought it was cool because, you know, I would always listen to other people's music and be like, oh, you know, this gets me hype. So I was like, I need my song that, you know, I need a song for myself that gets other people hype when they listen to it at the gym. So that's So Determined. The song is obviously about me being so determined as a rapper, but I wrote it for the people that are so determined in the gym, the people that are so determined to be the next basketball player, the next pro skateboarder, or to say that so determined, blah. So determined, you know, that's, you got to stay motivated, you got to be so determined, and that's also why the music video has an MMA fighter in it. Shouts to Sean. Make sure you check out the video if you haven't seen that already. So Determined. Track 6, Make Ends Meet, featuring my homie Willie Ways. This is the first and only song with a rap feature on it. Willie Ways is a really good homie of mine. We've known each other since middle school, and he's an old soul and a young body like me, you know, so I felt like he was the perfect addition to put on this album, if anybody. We actually made maybe 3 songs before picking Make Ends Meet. I think we made 3 songs for the album before Make Ends Meet. Make Ends Meet was just the one that fit the story the best, and to me it was my favorite verse of his as well, so I picked Make Ends Meet. I was stoked on that. I remember flipping the end sample, and both of us were like, oh, this is so dope, and I was gonna maybe just use it as like an outro, and then I was like, no, I gotta lay a verse on this, you know. I started to write to it, and I was like, I gotta do a verse. I finished that right there, and I think we knocked out that whole track in one session, which doesn't happen for me a lot. I take my time on stuff, and but I think that one really got knocked out in one session. Yeah, first and only rap feature on there, Make Ends Meet. Next track, Believe and Be Live. This one's funny. There's a funny story behind this, why I laugh at the title. This is the first beat on the album that I didn't make myself. This one is produced by my homie Roskop. He made 3 beats on my album, which I have a story of how me and him met, but that'll come later. So yeah, we were working on a song, and he sent over the beat to me. He tried to title the beat Believe, but apparently forgot the E, so when he sent it to me, it was Be Live. And so as I was working on the song, I started to almost jokingly mumble the melody, like, I will believe, I will be live. But then when I kind of came up with I will succeed, I will survive to go after it, and I was like, I will believe, I will be live, I will succeed, I will survive. And I started just saying that over. But yeah, I was like, man, this is really tight. This is actually like a really powerful mantra. And that was something I would repeat to myself often throughout the creative process of this album. So yeah, if you feel uninspired, look in the mirror and tell yourself, I will believe, I will be live, I will succeed, and I will survive. Say that 10 times in a row and see if you don't want to fucking take over the world after that, man. But yeah, anyways. This is also the first time on the album that you hear female vocals. All the female vocals on the album were done by Annie Ness. Shout out to her, she killed it. And I have a cool story on how that came about as well, but that comes later. So, anyway, let's keep it moving. Next track. Track 8. Haunt Me / Crossing Over. This one is the first of two-part songs on my album. I just really like that format of having, you know, 2 songs in one. So, Haunt Me, Crossing Over. Haunt Me, I made the beat. That's one of my favorite beats that I made on the album. More storytelling, more introspective stuff, just kind of continuing the story. But yeah, that song was just, you know, came out in the process. The Crossing Over portion is produced by a dude named Postscripted. He's somebody I met through the beat battle stuff. Like, they do beat battles out here in Vegas, and I was judging one, God, 4 years back now. And I had met this dude, and, you know, we linked up, and I got some beats from him. And this one I had actually held on to for a very long time. I had the hook for a very long time, but I didn't end up writing the verse until I had Haunt Me done, and I knew it was going to be like the second half of that. So that's Haunt Me and Crossing Over, because there's not really too much to talk about that one. So yeah, let's keep it pushing. Next song, track 9. Can't Keep Running / When the Rain Comes. This one actually I have a couple cool backstories about. This whole song is produced entirely by my homie Roscop. He produced When the Rain Comes, or he produced Can't Keep Running and When the Rain Comes. Can't Keep Running is the first beat that Roscop and I ever worked on together. He hit me up on Facebook after seeing my rap battles and saw I was working on a project and asked if I needed beats. At the time, I had a couple people sending me beats, but they all sounded so similar. They were just all the same hip-hop tempo. I was just really looking for something different. So I told him, send me the most off-the-wall stuff that you have. Like, I don't want the normal things you would send people. Like, you know, send me the most off-the-wall stuff you have. He said he was going to send me something, but if there was anything on his YouTube or SoundCloud that I liked, to let him know. So I found this beat on YouTube. And it's called something like, it was like trip hop sample beat different. Like different was in the parentheses. It was like trip hop sample beat different or something like that. And I was like, clicked on it, loved it, you know, fell in love with the sound of it. I just liked it so much. And so I told him, I was like, yo, I want that one. And he's like, to rap on? I'm like, what? You know? He's like, I never even pictured anybody rapping on that one, you know, but all right. And he sent it to me. And I wrote a hook to it really fast. I wrote the hook maybe like, man, like honestly, maybe before he sent over the actual beat. I think I wrote the hook while the beat was still on YouTube. So yeah, I wrote the hook really fast. But however, I made a mistake while I was writing it. I'm going to try and explain to you guys, but you'll probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So basically, out of your 4-bar pattern, I started with the 3rd and 4th as the 1st and 2nd. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, I was writing to the beat as 3, 4, 1, 2. So when it should be where I would 1, 2, I'm confusing myself now. But yeah, so that happened, and I tried to explain him that over a Facebook message, but as you can see here, it's very confusing. So he was like, you know, fuck it, let's just meet up. Basically, that'd be a lot easier. Maybe the next day or like sometime really soon, we decided to meet up, and that was the first time we met. So after chopping it up with him for a while, I rapped him "Shoot for the Sky" before it was even recorded. I told him about the album, the title, and you know, the direction I was going with it, and he was behind it, man. He liked what I was doing. He was a fan of my raps already, and yeah, we kind of just built a relationship right there and just continued to work. And he made 3 beats on the album. So yeah. So after I rapped "Shoot for the Sky" for him and you know, got him on board with the project, we figured out the beat. We figured out the problem in the beat, and we switched it around. So now the beat that you hear is actually 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. I messed up the way that I wrote the hook. I wrote the hook starting late, but I was like, it doesn't sound right to do it normally. So is there any way we could switch it around is there any way we could switch the second half to be the first half so my hook sounds right, because I like this hook a lot. So yeah, we made it happen, and I took the song home, and you know, did my thing to it or whatever. Can't Keep Running is also featuring Annie Ness. This is the first song that me and her worked on together. Maybe a month before my album came out, I put out a post on Facebook and Instagram and all my social medias looking for singers, because when I was making these songs, I always knew I wanted to be accompanied by singing. I always knew I wanted some female vocals. So I put out this post, and when I put out this post, I was 95% sure that I was not going to get anywhere with it. However, somebody that follows me tagged a girl, the girl being Annie Ness, so she hit me up and said she was interested. She sent me a video and said she was moving to Las Vegas in a week. So boom, perfect. So I said, awesome, contact me when you get out here and we'll link and work. The day before she came over to record, she texted me and said, "Is Shoot for the Sky your song?" And I said, yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I've actually heard the song and seen your video." So she said she had actually seen the video and heard the song prior to this, and didn't know that I was that person. She didn't actually know I was the person that made Shoot for the Sky when we were messaging about working on the album. So that's kind of random and small world. So yeah, she came over, I played her some songs off the album that were already done, and we made Can't Keep Running. I played her the song, she listened to the hook a couple times, and boom, knocked it out just like that. But yeah, when I put that post out, I didn't expect anything to happen from it. So the fact that she was there recording the lyrics that I wrote for my album, it was like a dream come true, pretty much, So yeah, that was like a really big moment for me to hear her sing something I wrote for the first time, So yeah, she came through, knocked out her part for the hook really fast. The first 4 bars that she sings on the second verse were actually blank when she came over. When she was here, I asked her if she was down to help me come up with a new part. So yeah, we came up with that 4 bars right there and finished the song just like that. So yeah, she helped me really finish that song right there, and that was the first one we worked on together. Second time you've heard her on the album. So not only was that the first one that me and Roskop worked on together, it was also the first one that me and Annie Ness worked on together. So yeah, first one for everything. That's not the saying, is it? Can't Keep Running was, to me, it's one of the most experimental moments on the album. I think it came out really dope. This was one of the first ones I wrote where I was really singing heavy on it, and having the female vocals to accompany it made it come together, so yeah. And then When the Rain Comes, this is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. The minute and a half of When the Rain Comes. One of my favorite songs on the album, and one of the most underrated songs on the album, I think. That's one of my favorite verses that I've ever written. But I think because it's the second half of such an experimental song that it doesn't really get the play it deserves. I think it gets slept on a lot, but When the Rain Comes is one of my favorite highlights of the album. It's one of my favorite hooks, one of my favorite beats. That one I brought to Delta with no bass line, and he actually had his homie come and play a live bass line on it, so that was super dope. That made the song come together, really. So yeah, When the Rain Comes is one of my favorite on the album, and I feel like is one of the most underrated. And so I'm saying that right here, so maybe you guys will go check it out. Next song, All Grown Up. All Grown Up transitions right from When the Rain Comes, with the rain dragging it on, and I made that beat and had the rain in it already. So I knew that whatever came before it would transition with rain. That's why it's When the Rain Comes that transitions to the rain, to All Grown Up. Anyway, the intro has that little skit. That's actually, that was something I came up with early on when I was writing the song, and didn't know if I'd be able to pull it off. But when Annie came to record her vocals, I was like, hey, I have this skit idea, would you be down to do it? And she was all for it, so yeah. This song is one of my most vulnerable moments, I think. One of my most honest moments. When I was a kid and I was rapping, I never thought I would rap about a relationship. There was always this stigma of you have to be hard, you have to be the tough guy. So it's like if you're rapping about a relationship, it's, oh, that shit's soft, that shit's weak, or that's not hip hop, or whatever it may be. But in all honesty, everybody goes through some relationship problems sometime in their life. So the fact that I was even writing that song was huge for me, just as a man, personally. The fact that I'm like, no, this is reality, this is what I'm going through, and I want to put my feelings and real life experiences into rap. The second verse is really just like a letter to my parents saying, I'm sorry for messing up as a kid, and it's time I stand up on my own too and grow up, pretty much. But yeah, during the process of this album, I did a lot of growing and a lot of maturing. I don't think I'm all grown up yet, but we're getting there. So, also, if you were wondering if the song is called All Grown Up because of the Rugrats All Grown Up, then yes, 100% it is. Okay, next song, track 11. Oasis, featuring Annie Ness. Oasis is one of my favorites. I put a lot of work into this one. This one took me a really long time to write. A lot of my childhood went into this one. From Paradise Park to McDonald's breakfast, a lot of my childhood. To me, this was like my gospel song. This was my take 'em to church song. I actually wanted a choir to sing the hook. Couldn't make that happen, but luckily Annie came through and killed it. So Oasis, that's one of the more personal ones on there. Oasis also had a big part in why I chose that picture for my album cover, which is a picture of my grandma and my brother and a young me. I talk about both my brother and my grandma in that song, and I say, I wonder if her and my brother are in the same place. Since I know they're watching over me now, the album cover was a picture of them watching over me then, kind of thing. So, yeah. Anyway, battery dying again. So the next song is 1993. Where do I even start with this one, huh? This song, this song was by far the hardest song I've ever written in my entire life. The situation happened in 2006, so I had these emotions bottled up for a very long time, and yeah, that was really huge for me to get out. This was one of the first songs that I started writing for the album, and it was the last song that I finished. I turned this song in maybe 5 days before the album came out. Straight up, I kept telling Delta, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get it to you, I just need it to be right. I brought it to Delta with maybe 5 days before the album came out, and we still managed to get it out. So here we were, 2 weeks before my album came out. This song is not finished. At some point, I really thought I wasn't gonna finish the song, it wasn't gonna make the album, and the album is not complete without it. There was a huge thought of that in my mind, that I was just not gonna get it out. I remember 12 days, I actually posted a post on Instagram, I believe it was 12 days before the album came out. I posted a picture of me writing the lyrics for this song, which they're all blurred out, but I'll post that picture right now. Yeah, so I actually posted 12 days before that I was finishing the lyrics to the last song, and that was that one. There I was, 12 days before the album came out, with that beat playing over and over, me in my kitchen, writing raps, writing lyrics. Lyrics just started to flow out onto the napkins I was writing. I was writing on multiple napkins, and I was hardly ever scribbling out stuff. I was just writing. Everything was coming out as a stream of consciousness. When I stopped writing, I realized it was the exact same amount of bars that I already had for the second half. So it was like I didn't count at all. I wasn't counting bars when I was writing this rap, but it just happened to be exactly the same amount and be exactly the amount that I need to finish the song. So it was like the fact that it just happened to be the exact amount of bars that I need. I really feel like I had help on that song. It was just a stream of consciousness, I hardly even revised anything. I'll take, weeks to, touch up words on lyrics, and these were just like flowing out so perfectly. The fact that I brought it 5 days before the album came out and we still managed to get it mixed and mastered and done. Delta had his homie actually come in and play a live bass line at the end as well, so that really brought out the record. And I had Annie sing the hook as well. I always knew I wanted to write a song like this. I knew if I was gonna make a song like this, I had to do it right. And I was so nervous. Even when I finished 1993, I was so nervous that I didn't do it justice. The fact that people are messaging me saying that my words have brought them to tears is mind-blowing to me. So I'm listening to it for the first time. I'm tearing up. It's starting to make me tear up. And it wasn't that I was sad. It wasn't that they were sad tears. There were tears of joy. There were tears of, man, I did it. This album wouldn't have been complete without this song. And the fact that I got it done within this deadline, barely by a hair, I got it finished. The fact that when I started this album years ago, I knew it wouldn't be complete without 1993. Years later, 1993 is done, and I'm listening to it like, wow. I was listening back like, man, I can't believe I even made that song, you know? It's a blessing, honestly, so I don't really know what else to say about 1993. Yeah. Okay, and final song, track 13, Do It All Again. Do It All Again is the perfect outro to me. It's the happy, upbeat end to the story, you know, pretty much. It sums up the relationship I was talking about in All Grown Up. I talk about the people that passed away and my poor decisions from the past. But while saying that I wouldn't change any of those things because they made me who I am today, you know. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In the song before, I'm rapping about this dark past, and you know, this song is all about just making peace with it and staying positive and moving forward, you know. It was, you know, leaving the past behind and starting on this new beginning. And I thought that was the perfect way to end the album. And I was originally going to end the album with 1993, but I'm glad I didn't end it on such a dark note, and I decided to put Do It All Again at the end as the outro. So Do It All Again was the happy ending. Every story needs a happy ending, right? So it just kind of fell into place. It was a perfect outro. Yeah. And that's the last song. So yeah, that's the last song. I'm super proud of the way the album came out, especially with the deadline and the time that we had to make it. Literally the night before we put out the album, we were all night in the studio. 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. in the studio putting finishing touches on the album. There was times where I was dozing off and it was just like, so there's probably some errors we missed, but you know, whatever, things happen, it came out, it's dope, people like it, you know, you live and you learn. The fact that it even came out on the deadline, on the release date, was a blessing in itself. Anyway, this video is running way too long. I'm totally sorry about that. Hopefully there was a couple gems in there that you heard that you found interesting or whatever. A huge thank you again to everyone that has supported me since the album came out. Anyone who's bought the album, downloaded the album, liked a video, shared a video, commented on a video, sent me a message, anything. Thank you guys so much. You are the best. I'm definitely working on new music this year. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys again for the support. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Yeah, man. Thank you. This world works in mysterious ways, but we keep praying that a miracle saves us. A lot of people that was here when I came up probably won't be here when the rain comes. It washes all away.